about, has it been a month?
About a month, yeah.
About a month, okay. And she's working in our Southwick and our West Hartford office, all rotating back and forth. Her and Liz are kind of going back and forth for me. So you'll get to see her. If you come into West Hartford, if you come into Southwick at times. So you just know as Sasha. And I had a cat by the name of Sasha, and she was kind of sassy. I don't know if this Sasha is that way or not. We'll see.
You can be.
Liz should be signing on any minute somewhere. She left work and she was going to sign on. So those of you who haven't met her will get to see her. She just graduated from college Friday or Saturday. Saturday, I guess it was. And so she's now full-time. She's been working part-time for us till she graduated. So we're happy to have her aboard. So I want to introduce Dr. Linda Nelson. And as we go through life, we have people in our lives in all different forms in our life that are our mentors. They are, they've guided us. They've given us the ideas. They've, and we all have them. And Dr. Nelson is one of those people for me. I was thinking this morning, I probably have maybe 4 people that I would say have been mentors, people that were there, but Dr. Nelson has been the one the longest, I'd say, and most impactful for me, because in reality, she saved my life. Like many of you, I was very unhealthy. I did not know I was unhealthy. Medicine, I thought, was the answer. I was taking whatever they told me to take, thinking, you know what, as long as I take this, I'll be healthy. Until one day, a doctor told me, get your affairs in order because you're going to be face down the pavement. I was stunned. I was 49 years old, and I went home, threw out all my meds because I thought basically life was over. I thought if the doctor said you were going to die, you're going to die, and that's just the way it is. My sister, Peggy, who is 11 months younger than I am, she knew Dr. Nelson, and she referred me to her. I went out to Chicago, met with her, and she told me what was wrong. Didn't take her long. She figured it out real quick. And she told me I had candida. I thought, and I've said this before, I thought she was a lunatic. A candida, I never heard of such a thing. Candida was a song when I grew up by Tony Orlando and Don. It was called Oh Candida. Dr. Nelson didn't think that was funny when I asked her if that was about the song, but moving along with the story, she told me what I had to do. I said, I'm not doing it. And she just basically said, well, when you're sick enough, you will, or she says, you'll die a premature death, or worse yet, you'll be debilitated and somebody have to take care of the rest of your life. She says, your choice. The second part of that statement scared me. Much as I love my daughter and my sister, last thing in this world I want to do is be taken care of. So I told her I would try it. And she told me, you don't try it, you either do it or you don't. She says, if you're not going to do it, don't waste your time, don't waste your money, and don't waste my time. This time I didn't think she was just a lunatic. I thought she was rude. So I just said, okay, I'll do it. And to be honest with you, I only did the program because I was going to prove to my sister and my daughter and different people that, you know, it was just bad luck, bad germs, bad genes. It wasn't anything that could be controlled. They were telling me to do something. I was telling them there's nothing to be done. And that was pretty much the way I felt. I came back from Chicago. I started the program. Within 10 days, I started feeling so much better. Still was basically a non-believer, but I just kept going because I was feeling better. And the longer I went, the better I felt. And about 2.5 months, I called her and I asked her, you know, why didn't my doctor do this for me before? And she said, you know, that's the pharmaceutical industry, different things is a different subject for a different time. And I said, why don't you have places here to help people? I can't be the only person that has this problem. And she said, no, indeed, you're not. And if you're looking to change a career or you're looking to help people, let me know and we can work together. And that springboarded my last 21 years. My sister and I started it, one shop in Southwick, Massachusetts. And we basically started on a shoestring. After I retired from the military, I went into a furniture business. I got rid of that and started doing this. And this is what I've been doing since. But in all that time, Dr. Nelson's been my mentor. She's been the person that I can turn to when somebody has a question, somebody has a concern or something I don't know. And I say I've been doing this for 21 years and I still call her on a regular basis to ask her questions. What about this? I text her. If a person is in this situation, what would you recommend, not recommend, et cetera. And she's always been on the spot to help me. And people tell me all the time that, you helped so many people, you've done this and that. It really wasn't me. I have been put on a path, and I always say between the good Lord and Dr. Nelson, I've just learned it and I just follow the procedure. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. She did. And I've just taken it from there and helped people in every facet of my ability to show them what they can do with their life and how they can heal their body and how resilient the body is to heal and get well and stay well. So this is a woman that I admire. I love her to death. I just think she's just a wonderful, wonderful human being. And I wish she could get out here more often, but with the pandemic, we haven't seen her has been out here in the office for going on 2 years, but I'm hoping that changed because most of her family's moving this direction. So she's going to be forced to come and see us, whether she likes it or not, I guess. So without further ado, I did ask Dr. Nelson if she would be willing to talk, because I think sometimes it's good to hear a different voice. Obviously, much better face than mine. So I thought, you know what, let's do it. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Linda Nelson, my friend, my hero, and my mentor. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say I'm really a lot nicer than he makes me sound. I wasn't rude to him. He just remembers that. So anyway, thank you so much for allowing me to spend a little time with all of you. It's been really fun for me to see John and Patty change so many lives. That's been my goal in life, is to teach people, educate people that you are responsible for your own health. No one else is responsible. And I think once we decide that, our life changes. And I'm going to take just a minute and tell you just a little bit about my background, because I think I might be where some of you are coming from, though there's so much more information out now. But I'll go clear back to like 1942, when penicillin came on the market. My mother was a registered nurse, and as a registered nurse in 1942, you could have a pharmacy in your refrigerator. Penicillin solved everything. You're all I can look at you all. I'm sure you're all young enough you don't remember what happened when it came on the market, but it solved everything. It was given no matter what, because it was the miracle that came into conventional medicine. So as a result, no matter whatever was wrong with us, we would always be given a penicillin injection. Of course, not knowing in 1942, or some people still don't know, the ramifications of being over antibiotic. Antibiotics kill some things and make other things weak. They solve one symptom and cause another symptom, which, like many drugs, do that. But as I grew, and I was just never a healthy child. And by the time I was in high school, everything was wrong. I was allergic to everything in the world: sight, sound, lights, food, growing things. I had depression and anxiety, which were not diagnosed the 1950s. I ached, I hurt everywhere. My life was just really, it was really scary. And in the 1950s, you had one doctor, you didn't have specialists, you had one doctor who did everything. And any symptom that I had, he would solve with a drug. So I would take one drug, and of course it would cause other symptoms, and it became kind of a rolling ball. By the time I was a senior in high school, I ached everywhere. And his response to that was to take the muscles out of my legs that were aching, which of course was not the problem. It was a symptom of me having a terrible immune system. So I've gone from 1959 till today without having IT bands in my legs, which has always been an issue. For you who don't like to exercise, I don't have a choice, or else my structure collapses. So it's been a really huge issue. And so it didn't solve the ache, and I went on to college, graduated from college, got sicker. I got married, and my last son was born in 1976. And I was given an epidural that it took 3 days for me to come out of recovery. And the doctor said something really interesting. He said, "You would be a really cheap drug addict. It doesn't take very much to work for you." But essentially it's what happened. I was just in medical overdose. And so as I got cleared in 1979, somebody said to me, a friend said, "Have you ever tried holistic therapies? Have you ever tried alternative therapies?" And, you know, I grew up in a conventional medical family. And my answer was, my very uneducated answer was, of course not. I'm an educated person. Why would I do that? But I had tried everything. And for you who have been sick and have had conditions, and you've had immune disorders, you know that most people want to tell you how you're going to get better. Why don't you exercise? Why don't you try green tea? Why don't you try this? Why don't you try this? Like they have a panacea for what's going on with you. And I really decided I would go to California and meet with a naturopath, which I didn't know what a naturopath was, but I went mostly to be able to say, okay, I've tried everything. This doesn't work either. But I was almost to the point where I thought I wasn't going to live to raise my kids. And so I went down and met with him. He had a hotel where he kept, he had people there that he was putting through programs. And I met with him, and he spent 4 hours with me, which was like 3 hours and 50 minutes longer than any medical conversation I'd had in my whole life. And I, like 20 minutes into that, he said, "Everything that's wrong with you is being caused by a toxic body." And, you know, I teach a lot about aha moments. We mostly, all of us need an aha moment to change our lifestyle. We need something to happen that it becomes a priority. And when he said, you are responsible for your health, and unless you change how you live, you will never get better. And then he talked to me about detoxification. 1979, detoxification was never a word I had heard. Now you can't even go through the grocery store without every magazine cover talking about detoxification. But he said, we need to cleanse your liver, your bowels, your kidney, purify your blood. We need to get your colon working. And 95% of all disease and every symptom that you have starts in the colon. And it kind of clicked with me. For interesting enough, after 38 years of being sick, that clicked with me. And so he said, if you'll stay in California for a month, I can teach you to get well. And I told him I couldn't do that, but I could stay a week. And I think back now how unrealistic that was. I was giving him a week to reverse things that had happened over 38 years. But he said, okay, the first 2 days, we're going to take all red meat, all white sugar, all white flour out of your diet. We're going to drink lots of water. 1979, nobody drank water. I can never remember drinking water. We drank Kool-Aid or soda, or we're going to drink half your body weight in ounces in water. We're going to sleep. We're going to exercise. We're going to be outside and get some good ultraviolet rays. And we're going to start taking a group of herbs. And when I tell you this, know that the detoxification program that John and Patty are putting you through is pretty much the same program that Dr. Donsma put me through clear back in 1979. And I thought, if herbs worked, why wouldn't my doctor have told me? And he kind of gave me the same answer that I gave John. Well, you know, it's a conventional medicine and pharmaceutical against contrasting with working with the body. So the first 2 days, know that I was hooked on sugar. I was hooked on caffeine. I was on 36 prescription medications, none of them life-sustaining. They were all symptom drugs. And we tell people now that you cannot ever cold turkey prescription drugs, but I just thought, you know what, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I went off sugar, which #1 drug abuse in America. I don't know if you all know that. It alters every single organ of the body. It alters your immune system. Caffeine, I went off soda. And I want to tell you, I felt terrible. There are better ways to do it. And we really hold your hand and love you well now, but he was tough. The first 2 days, I just felt not so great. And then the third day he said, okay, we're going to go on liquids only. And I panicked because I thought, how do you go without eating solid food? Which he explained to me that lemon juice, distilled water, pure maple syrup gives you all the calories and all the nutrients you need, but we need to give the immune system a rest. And so for 3 days, I went on lemon mixture and detoxification herbs. And the first 2 days, I didn't feel good. The third day I was on the cleanse, I actually felt a little bit better. The day that I came off the cleanse, which would have been day 6, I woke up that morning and I'd had a migraine headache every single day for years and years, and migraine headache medicine. And I had ached all over. I was not able to function without energy sprays, antihistamine sprays and antihistamines. And I woke up that morning and I could breathe, and my headache was gone. And I thought, whoa, I'm cured, which was very, very naive. But there was such a huge change in just 6 days. I thought, you know what, I can do this. And I think the main thing that triggered that determination was when he said, the only person that's in charge of your health is you. You need to make educated decisions. So he gave me a calendar. He gave me all the herbs. I went home and I stayed on it absolutely faithful for 30 days. And looking back, I really, at the time, was amazed because I was pretty much symptom-free in 30 days. I stayed on another 30 days. I stayed on it for an entire year with no sugar, no caffeine, eating all the foods I was supposed to, getting all the nutrients, and my life changed. My family's life changed. My profession changed. Everything changed. We went to, a friend of mine and I went to California and met with Dr. Donsma and asked if he would sell us the formula to the detoxification program and a couple of other things that we still have in our line. And he agreed to do that. And we came back to Salt Lake, deciding we were going to teach the world how to get well. For all of you who remember, think back to 1980, microwaves were new, drive-throughs were new, salads in bags were new. Nobody cared about detoxification. And fortunately, we had met contacts in Asia, and really spent about the first clear till 1990s in Asia, which was fabulous for me. I went back to school and got a naturopathic degree and a doctorate in preventive health, and learned so much about the body in Chinese medicine and Asian medicine, and it's been an absolutely fabulously wonderful life. When we came back in the U.S., we met people like John, who wanted to educate and love people well also, and that's how we came back into the U.S. in clinics and wellness centers. And so the last 40 years, my goal has been to get people well, to educate and put people in a position to be able to make a decision to change their life. The last 18 months, it's been really tough. You know, I actually retired a couple of years ago, and I still get the opportunity to work with lots and lots and lots of people right now that sort of have what we call COVID bodies and COVID health now, because we haven't been able to exercise. We been under stress, we're not sleeping. So, you know, a lot of people almost have to start from scratch again. So hopefully that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is how, what is detoxification and how does it affect the immune system? So Patty, were you going to do a PowerPoint for me, or am I just talking? Yes.
We can do this if you like this.
Yep. I can change it myself?
No,
Okay, you'll have to do it then.
I will do it for you.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the immune system. So if you want to click ahead there, every single organ of your body is part of your immune system, and every single organ of your body is critical. If you've had a hysterectomy, or you've had your gallbladder out, or you've had your things that have gone on with your kidneys, if you've even had kidney stones, if your thyroid's not working, every other organ in the body has to work at maximum. You can live without some of your organs, but the rest of your body has to be super healthy. And so I'm going to talk about just a couple of them. One is the lymphatic system, and that to me is almost the most important immune system in the body. We all know what your circulatory system does. It goes through the heart. The heart has a pump. It pumps it through the body. It feeds all the cells. We couldn't live without the circulatory system. The lymphatic system actually mirrors the circulatory system, except that it's longer. It goes into every finger, every toe. It goes into the head. It goes everywhere. And essentially is what it does is it picks up all bacteria, picks up anything that the body's trying to slough off destructive cells. It is the cleansing network of the body, and it picks it up and comes back through all of your lymph nodes, goes up through the lymph nodes in your neck, down through the thoracic valve of the heart, and all of that bacteria and destructive parts of the body that the body's sloughing off, then is eliminated out of the body. The difference in the lymphatic system and the circulatory system is that the circulatory system has a pump. If you lay on the couch all day, every day, your circulatory system still works. The lymphatic system does not have a pump. And the only way your immune system works through the lymphatic system is you have to move. So it is critical that even the last 18 months, it's been really critical that we get out and walk, or we do something to pump that lymphatic system to keep us well. We've all been exposed to a virus and probably to bacterias, and the only way that we're going to help return to health is you need to be doing something to pump that through. So you go through every organ, your liver, your bowels, your kidney, your spleen, your bone marrow, and your thymus. Every one of those organs of the body are part of your immune system. Okay, Patty? Same as white blood cells, the complementary system, everything that's done by the antibodies of the body. The immune system is very, 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 very complex, but know that when you're healthy, everything works. And that's what our goal is. Okay. Okay, I can't read what that says here, but I'm going to tell you what it says. It says the immune system keeps a record of every germ that's ever been defeated so it can fight it again. So think a minute about COVID. They tell you if you have had COVID, you have a natural immunity. I don't know if that works every single time, because I know in my own personal experience, there are people who have had it more than once. But when your body fights a bacteria or a virus, it has the recognition system so that that it will fight it again, because it knows what that bacteria is. Okay. Okay, this is essentially what I was saying before. The immune system recognizes and destroys the same bacteria if it enters the body again. The difference is that colds and flu and probably COVID, there are so many different strains. If you wonder why you get colds over and over again, there's so many different strains that even though the body immune system recognizes, if it's a different strain, you probably, if you don't have a good immune system, will probably affect you again. So, okay. So abnormalities of the immune system. Think about all the things that you're dealing with in your life. You may be allergic to things. In Utah right now, everything is blossoming and blooming, and the trees are coming out. Everybody has allergies. I had allergies so bad that I carried an EpiPen with me full time in case there was an emergency. The minute I went through extensive detoxification, I have never had an allergic response to anything again. So when your immune system is compromised, you will have allergies. There's many diseases that are immunodeficient or autoimmune diseases. For all of you who have been in conventional medicine, I know that autoimmune diagnosis is rampant. There's so many things that even if you don't know what it is, it's being attributed to an autoimmune disease. Immune system has to be our first key to getting well. In order to have a strong immune system, I think you have to detoxify. And you have to eat the right foods. You have to, we'll talk about this again, but you have to get enough sleep. You have to exercise. All of the things that we already know we should be doing. In fact, I had a doctor not very long ago challenge me on somebody who wanted to go on a program, and he kept saying to me, but everything you're doing is destructive. And I said, well, tell me what's destructive. We want people to go off sugar. We want people to eat less red meat. We want people to take less caffeine into their systems. We want them to exercise. We want them to get good sleep. What of those do you think that we shouldn't be encouraging people to do? You know, there wasn't an answer to that, because essentially we all know we should be doing those things, even if we get challenged on that. Okay, I'm going to skip the next one. We just talked about that. Okay, 4 ways to compromise your immune system. Obviously, these are not all of them. They tell you that 2 tablespoons of white sugar a day compromises your immune system. Okay, that's putting ketchup on something. Ketchup has more sugar than ice cream does. I think in order to be healthy, we're going to have to really learn to read labels. John and Patty are really good with that to help you learn how to read labels. But refined sugar is anything in it, everything, and they call it something else so you don't know. So you need to have them help you with that. Any processed food, the best way you can eat is as fresh and if you're eating meat, we would suggest that doesn't have pesticides. It's been free range. It hasn't had hormones injected in it, which is very common in the United States to make the meat sources be bigger, faster, stronger. So sourcing our foods is very, very critical. Okay, let me just go back to sleep and alcohol. Anything in moderation. When you get well, anything in moderation is great. But our goal is to not do things that are going to compromise our immune system while we get well. Okay. Okay, we talked about this. We talked about movement. We talked about sleep. Let me talk a minute about supplements. When we went into Asia, the law in Asia was that anything that was imported into particularly Japan could have 0 contaminants. In the United States, you can have 50% contaminant in any herbal, any kind of nutrition, any nutrients. You can have 50% contaminants. It is not, to this point, regulated by the FDA. And so you get, if you're not careful what supplements that you're taking, you're getting something that you don't think it is. You're getting sawdust. They use a lot of sawdust. That's a fiber. It is a fiber. It's not healthy fiber, but it's a fiber. And you're getting press tabs where they press them with a shellac ingredient. You're getting, if they can do contaminants, I think the rule of thumb is you can have 5 rat hairs in a bottle. Actually, my rule is I don't want any rat hairs in a bottle. So when we went into Asia, we knew that we would not be able to sell there unless we had 0 contaminants. It's actually more expensive to produce without contaminants. And so they test every single shipment that goes in. And when we came back in the US, our question was, do we make cheaper nutrients so that they're not as expensive, or do we decide that we're going to have the very best, purest supplements that exactly what's on the label is exactly what's in the supplement, and they're all organic and they're all grown organically? And we decided to do that. So if we're telling you that you need 100% vitamin, 100% mineral, 100% amino acids, you need calcium, you need vitamin D, you need B12, you need to know that what John puts you on in a program is exactly 100% pure, and that's why they work. That's why you're getting well. Okay. Okay, well, we've already talked about this, but it's the most important thing that you can do. And that's why when you go on a program, essentially that's the first thing you're introduced to. And if you've never detoxified, it can be kind of scary. I've been there. I know in my head. You mean you can't eat what you want, and you have to do liquids, and you can't have sugar. And I mean, it's scary because our lifestyle is that. And but it's the only way I know to start improving your immune system. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have you flip 2 here because I'd like the one more. Okay. I love this because this diagram, because it's going to show you a little bit better. So if you can see the diagram in the middle is exactly what your intestinal tract, your colon, looks like. Where you see this, I'm trying to point to it, but I know you can't tell me. So you're just going to have to kind of look here. Right in the middle, there's the ileocecal valve. That comes in from the small intestine. So when you take food into your body, it goes down your throat into your stomach, where the body turns it to an almost liquid state, goes through into the stomach, goes past the gallbladder, it goes through the small intestine, which wraps inside that large intestine, and then it goes into the ileocecal valve into the ascending colon, which is on the right side of your body, goes up. The transverse colon goes across right under your navel. The descending colon goes down the left side of your body, and the food is eliminated out of the body. When you're not healthy, the colon gets not only infected and gets diverticulitis and diverticulosis and polyps and cancers, but the reason is because we're not healthy enough for that. It has a peristaltic action, or like an accordion action, that moves the waste material up the ascending colon, across the transverse colon, down the descending colon, and eliminates it. It should happen within a day. It should happen. What you ate this morning should be out of your body by tonight. I work with people who eliminate once every 7 or 8 days, and I will tell you, they're not well. They are sick. We need to eliminate every time we eat. We need to eliminate. So if you look at the 5 colons on the bottom, these are barium enema X-rays, and you can see they've got they're misshapen. They've got the little pockets. That's diverticulitis and diverticulosis, which is where waste material gets up in a pocket and thins the walls of the colon, so that the colon has a possibility of bursting, but it also is a precursor to cancers and to polyps. It gets big sacs of incrustations. We work with people who sometimes carry 20, 25 pounds of putrefied material around in their colons all the time. And the colon is an open system, so that any liquids go in through the walls of the colon, out through the walls of the colon. If you are toxic, if you have a toxic colon, your whole body's toxic. So the first thing that we do when we detoxify, we're going to detoxify what has been traced to 95% of all disease. On here, it just tells you the symptoms that we already know. We probably, most of us have these or have at some time, which lack of energy, overweight, mental confusion, allergies, eliminating less than twice a day, dependency on sugar, caffeine, which has a lot to do with candida. And I know John's talked to you about that. Skin reflects your health. Body odors, headaches, digestive irregularity. You will feel different from the day you start doing a program. If anybody is more convinced about detoxification than I don't know who they are. This just, to me, is the key to everything. Okay. Okay, we talked a little about a diverticulitis and diverticulosis. Diverticulosis are the little sacs that protrude out of the colon. If you've had a colonoscopy and they show you the pictures, they're like little pockets full of impacted waste materials, putrefied waste materials. And most people at some time in their life have parasites and worms. I just worked with somebody who had a 16-inch tapeworm when they detoxified. It's kind of scary to know that that's living in your system. One of the things that detoxification does is it kills parasites and worms. Diverticulitis then is an inflammation of diverticulosis. So, and it thins the walls of the colon so that they're concerned with compromising the structure of the colon. Okay. Hemorrhoids, I think everybody probably knows what that is, but when you have elimination issues and you strain to eliminate, as you strain to eliminate, blood vessels burst and they form hemorrhoids. You can have them inside the rectum or externally, and they are extremely, extremely painful. Some of our biggest clients that we've ever had have come from us working with their hemorrhoids, and it has changed their life dramatically. So hemorrhoids is a symptom of a impacted colon. Okay. Polyps, if you've had a colonoscopy, you know they go in and tell you how many polyps you have, and they take them out. They're precancerous. They worry about that becoming cancer, so they cut those out as a ward against colon cancer. Parasites, we talked about that. Dr. Oz says 90% of humans have a problem with parasites in their lifetime, which is true. It's very interesting when you detoxify to see what you eliminate. It's not scary, it's really interesting to see kind of what you've been carrying around in your system. The other way that's really interesting with parasites is John and Patty have a foot bath, an ion cleanse foot bath that if any of you have had a chance to work with that, if you're really infested with parasites, they will come out through a foot bath. You might want to try that. Okay. Okay, we've talked about that. Let's go to the next one. Okay, signs of a toxic body. John, tell me when I need to stop talking. Okay. Okay, count these on your fingers. Mental confusion, mood swings, anxiety, depression, irritability, overweight or underweight, fatigue or lack of energy, headaches, cravings or addictions, digestive problems, allergy, hay fever, asthma, PMS, anything hormonal, both men and women, eating disorders, low resistance to illness and infection, life-threatening or degenerative illness, bowel irregularity, painful inflammation, yeast infections, strong desire for sugar, beer, or bread, high risk for coronary artery disease, diabetes or hypoglycemia, high blood pressure, acne, eczema, psoriasis, poor muscle tone, high alcohol consumption, high caffeine consumption, and smoking. I can't see everybody's face on here anymore, but does anybody not have any of those? Is anybody holding their hand up, John and Patty? No? Okay, every one of those are a symptom of a toxic body. This is the exact same piece of paper that Dr. Donsbaugh gave to me, and he said, go through here and figure this out. Tell me how many you have. I didn't have high alcohol or smoking, but pretty much I was all of those. So the time and John too, when I first met John, pretty much all of those were him. So it gets to the point where you just have to say, I need to make a change, and it's going to be hard, but I need to do it. Okay. Okay, when you detoxify, we have eliminative organs. We have our bowels, we have our skin. Our skin is the largest organ of the body. And when you perspire, the body detoxifies. The bowels detoxify. Diarrhea is a form of detoxification. Your lungs, coughing, a runny nose, your kidneys through the urine, and your liver. Those are all detoxification organs. When you detoxify, those organs become active. And you just need to know that the body in its purest, healthiest form, if you have an invader, which is bacteria or virus or toxins or poisons, when you have an invader, your body will want to detoxify it by diarrhea, by perspiration, by coughing, by mucus, by through your urine system, that's a normal thing. In America, we don't want diarrhea, and we don't want to perspire, and we don't want cough, and we don't want a runny nose. And that's why we start with antihistamines, antibiotics, antidiarrheal, everything that's going to stop the body's natural ability to eliminate. So when you detoxify, that's one of the interesting things to watch, because your body is going to use its normal body functions to help you detoxify. Okay. Okay, healing crisis. For you who have gone through a detoxification already, you may walk through what we call the body's ability to heal, but through a healing crisis. You may get a low-grade fever. You may get a headache. We know through organs that are eliminated, you may have a runny nose. You may get cold or flu. You may get diarrhea. You may get dark urine. You may have fatigue. Excuse me, but you will. You may have a healing crisis. And if you go to the next slide, we'll talk about. Okay, one more. Okay, I'm just going to talk about it. I can't tell where that slide is. You may oh, here we go. Okay, so your healing crises move from inside to outside. So if you have internal issues, they're going to start to heal and bring it to the outside. So you may, if you have eczema or psoriasis, then you have taken cortisones or steroids or whatever. As your body heals, it's going to move from inside to outside, and that may manifest again. But it also moves from top to bottom. So I'll just give you an example. I've been working with a woman who all through her teenage years had horrible psoriasis, clear up into her hair to the point where she couldn't go outside. When she slept at night, her sheets would stick to her because it was weepy. And she had been on cortisones and steroids and had gotten that under control. She started on a detoxification program, and of course the psoriasis came back. But I was there working with her for 3 days, and I could visibly watch the symptoms move from top to bottom. It just cleared, 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 cleared. You can almost watch it clearing. So from inside out, from top to bottom, and in reverse order to how your poor health progressed. So for example, if you've just developed, we'll go back to eczema. If you just developed eczema for the first time in your life, you're going to see that reverse first. But maybe when you were a teenager, you may have had acne. You may have had athlete's foot. Whatever is, you're going to go in reverse. So the newest health issues are going to change first. The oldest health issues, and sometimes if you live a detoxifying lifestyle, sometimes maybe a year later, a symptom will pop up for 8 hours or 12 hours. And as you walk through that, then it disappears again. You may have reoccurrence of some old ailments. Okay, go back one slide. One slide. I love this. I just found this. Somebody just sent this to me. You have a hormone that's made in the intestinal tract. It's called serotonin. I know you've all heard of serotonin, but it's made in the gut. And serotonin is the hormone that stabilizes your mood and your feeling of well-being and your happiness. This hormone affects your entire body. This is so critical, particularly the people that I've been working with, particularly the last 18 months, have so affected so many people with anxiety and depression and even I have people who feel like they're getting dementia. And if your intestinal tract is not working, if you are toxic, know that 70% of your serotonin is manufactured in a toxic intestinal tract. If that's the only reason you detoxify, it will change your whole attitude on your life. I think that's to me right now is one of the really critical issues. Okay. Okay, successful detox. You have to make a decision. Am I going to do it? I love Yoda, who says, try or try not. Or, John, tell me what it's. Tell me that it's hanging on my wall outside my office here. Anyway, he says there is no try.
You either do or you don't.
Yeah, you can't say I'm going to try. And that's why John thought I was mean to him, because he says, well, I could try. I said, no, you don't try. You either do it or you don't do it. You have to know why. And you have to go in to John and have them walk you through. These are the ways to get ready to detoxify. You have to get all the sugar out of your house. You have to change how you're shopping. You need fresh things. You need to exercise. You need to sleep. So there are ways when they put you on a program that that will prepare you to have a successful detoxification. I promise you, if you have an entire cupboard of chocolate and treats and you try to detoxify, you're going to have a really tough time succeeding. Okay.
And that goes for people that don't have been through programs and they kind of let themselves deteriorate. Think about all these things that you may have to do to restore your good health.
You have to make a decision, and it has to be the top priority of your life. I will tell you, and I'll just end with this. When I was 39 years old, I thought I was not going to live. Seriously, I thought my health is so bad and I don't really pretty much care. It's not a good way to live. The difference in 39 and now 79, I feel 1,000,000% better than I did at 39. I would never go back to that. Once you're healthy and you know how to stay healthy, it is worth every day that you work to get there.
And one thing I want to state is too, a lot of times people think they go through a program, 2-month, 3-month, whatever it might be, and that they're completely healthy. And you have to really evaluate yourself all the time. You may feel so much better than you did, but there's still a lot of work to do because for years and years and years, we didn't take care of ourselves. So that's really, really important to understand that as well.
And there's maintenance. There's maintenance. I want you to know I detoxify every 3 months and I have for 40 years. So it's not, I'm going to do this for a month and I'm going to go back and be what I've been, because you don't want to have to start over. You want to be well.
We have a question here.
So does Dr. Nelson believe colon is part of the microbiome or is it separate?
Oh, yeah, totally important. Absolutely. You're talking about, are you talking about the concept of friendly bacteria and unfriendly bacteria and all the bacteria that's in the body? I mean, we have thousands of kinds of bacteria in our bodies, and we have to. We have good bacteria that really controls how our body works. If you've had candida, that's a bad bacteria. That's a bad one. That friendly bacteria will help control. So if that's what you're talking about, yes, totally.
Another question says, can you explain importance of microbiome, what it is, and how to eat to help bring good bacteria to your gut? What foods promote this, such as probiotics and prebiotics?
Well, that's a whole hour conversation, but let me just put it, and I'm happy to send information on this, but probiotics like Acidophilus and Bifidus are critical on a daily basis to keep bad bacteria and bad fungus in check. We all have bacteria in our colons, a lot of it. A lot of it is necessary. So we take probiotics and we take it, I take it every single day, but because the research on it now shows that it has a lot to do with depression, it has a lot to do with anxiety, it has everything to do with whether your body absorbs the nutrients from all of the food. So probiotics and prebiotics are critical in your system, whether you eat it or not. Interestingly enough, I've just been mixing up probiotics and yogurt to somebody who's full of bacteria today. So that was my morning. So I totally believe in that. And if somebody wants a whole class on that, I would be happy to do that, but that's like an hour discussion.
All right. Heather, you got a question? You raised your hand. Oh, unmute. There you go.
I was wondering what your thoughts are on colonics, if you've done them, if you recommend them.
Couple of things. If you have never have had colon issues for a really long time and your colon is impacted, and if you do not eliminate every day, I think a colonics is a good thing. But let me preface that by saying most colon therapists, most colonic therapists want to sell you a 12 package. When I send someone to a colon therapist, to someone who does colonics, and I work with one, I send them almost with me calling them and saying, I think going through this program, if she had 3 like a week apart, that would be awesome. But I don't want her to have 12. And this is the reason. Your colon has this peristaltic action. And when you detoxify, one of our goals is to restore the peristaltic action so that when the foods get into the ascending colon, it works in this peristaltic action. If you force your body to eliminate either through laxatives or through colonics, it destroys that peristaltic action because it's a muscle. And if you don't use it, it gets really lazy. And if it doesn't have to work in a peristaltic action, it's not going to. You will always have to rely on laxatives or colonics or coffee enemas or whatever you're going to do. So I kind of do it with, if you don't eliminate every day, like I said, I have people eliminate sometimes not even like once a month. Yes, I would send them. We need to get the colon working, because if you don't eliminate, for all of you who have had this issue, you know that it makes you feel sick. You feel terrible, and it's shooting toxins totally back through your body. An impacted colon is just is a real precursor to poor health. So on a limited basis, I say yes. That was a long answer, sorry.
And in the 20 plus years I've been doing this, I've only sent about half a dozen people to have a colonic. And those are the ones that were so backed up that we just could not get them to move at all.
Yeah. Our goal is to make your colon work this way it's supposed to. I mean, you're getting if you can eliminate every day, the healthier you're going to be. So.
Another question is, what baseline supplements do you take daily? How do you know you're not over detoxing?
Okay, supplements I take daily. I take our daily, which is 100% vitamin, 100% mineral, 100% amino acid. I take calcium. We do 3 supplements in addition to our regular daily. We do calcium, which calcium is a sedative. So I take one like half an hour before I go to bed every night, because if you get jumpy legs or Charlie horses, or you have trouble sleeping, calcium is a natural sedative. And I take one in the morning. I take B12, which is your brain chemical, just because I'm trying really hard not to get old and I want to remember things. And I take vitamin D. Vitamin D, I think, is the most critical vitamin right now of anything. And if you go online and pull up vitamin D, you're going to see that they're using it for in conventional medicine for major diseases like Parkinson's, and where they're mega dosing on vitamin D, which I won't say to do that, but they're actually reversing Parkinson's symptoms. If you're interested in that, type in vitamin D and Parkinson's. It's really interesting. So I take vitamin D. So I take all of those vitamins. I take I'm trying to think what else I take. I do our supplement drinks. I make myself sort of called a sludge every day because I want to take something for free radicals, and I want to take something for cardio. So we have 2 powders that I mix in water, and I take that to the gym every day and drink it. And then once every 3 months, I do a week detoxification, because I live in America. And I will tell you, the minute I start feeling like maybe my eyes are itching, or if I even think that there might be some allergies coming back, that's my trigger to detoxify again. Or I go on a cruise and I eat things I shouldn't eat. Then I know that I kind of need to sort of reset myself. I think that, yeah, you could detoxify too much if you think that's going to be your lifestyle forever. You know, everything in moderation, including detoxification and including nutrients. That's why I think that you need to have somebody educate you on why you take something and how much you take it. More is almost never better. Did that answer that?
Yes. Another question is, what research documents the amount of water we should drink?
You can also overdose in water. I mean, we're saying everything in moderation. I think rule of thumb from National Institute of Health and anybody who's involved in particularly the exercise industry is that half your body weight in ounces of water. If you're losing weight, of course, you need probably less water. You need to know that everything runs on water. Every organ, your colon, your lungs, your heart, your lymphatic system, your thyroid, everything runs on water. It doesn't run on Diet Coke or coffee, it runs on water. So rule of thumb from the National Institute of Health just says half your body weight in water.
Okay.
In ounces, not pounds. In ounces.
What supplement do you recommend for reversing the effects of EMF from cell phones and cell towers?
I would have to do research on that. I don't have a good answer on that.
Okay. The person that submitted that, I will follow up with you on that. Question says, how about omega-3 daily? I'm not sure. I guess they want to know how important is omega-3s to take daily.
Actually, it is important. We actually have supplements that have omega-3s in them, and they are part of any program that John will put you on. It's a fatty acid, and it helps bones, it helps muscles, it helps arthritis. It helps the brain. We all need fatty acids. So yeah, omega-3s, 3, 6, and 9s are all within our programs.
One more. Do you know the cause of incomplete evacuation when one does have peristaltic action on the colon? It is just not complete. Is there a remedy you know to help this?
If you have perfect peristaltic action, it probably would eliminate totally. But it also, I'm gonna say peristaltic action is critical, but if you don't drink enough water, you probably won't eliminate totally. If you don't have enough fiber, you probably don't eliminate totally. So fiber and water is really critical also, and also the foods that you eat. You know, fresh fruits and vegetables. If you think about when you eat fresh fruits, from the time you eat them till the time they go through your digestive system ready to be eliminated, maybe half an hour. Fresh vegetables, maybe 45 minutes. Well marbled red steak, maybe 5, 6, 7 days. So a lot of it has to do also on the type of food you're eating. So maybe you do a food diary and make sure you're getting enough fiber and drinking enough water.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions? That was all that was submitted to us at this point. I want to raise your hand if you have a question, or jump in, just unmute and say, ask a question. Okay, if you do, go
If you-
ahead, Tammy. No, okay, all right. Thought you had your
If you
hand up,
think
sorry.
about
Thank you. Wonderful.
That's Dawn.
Thank you.
Thanks, all of you.
Okay, so
Thank you.
Thank you.
if you have any-
Thank you,
if you have-
Allison.
if you have any other questions, first of all, Liz is on. Liz, would you wave to everybody? That's Liz, and now you met Sasha. Sasha, you waved. Okay, so between Patty, myself, Sasha, Liz, call us with questions. If there's something we can't answer, we have Dr. Nelson at a phone call away, okay? So the thing is,